This rewind is brought to you by shirts. Shirts, I have them now. Hello and welcome to Brave Souls Rewind, the show where I 200 older characters so you don't have to. Today I'll be covering the second canon Halibel, and unlike Swimsuit Halibel and Halloween Halibel, this one just loves to get summoned by me. Seriously, like every other 5-star ticket is her. So you can bet that I've had her 200 for a really long time now, but I've never actually done a proper showcase, until now. Now we're starting off with the normal attack damage build, and stat-wise for a hybrid character, especially an older one, they're actually not bad. I mean, a 684 attack is pretty good, and she's got a plus 30 bruiser. Of course, having a captain killer definitely doesn't help her, but overall I say the damage was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, it was a little less than I was expecting, but she had excellent range. In fact, it's probably the best range I've seen on a rewind for a character that's not a ranged character. And that definitely makes this build, simply because it has a great reach, and the normal attacks will eventually take out the enemies. Plus you can use your strong attacks, which have great range, to knock them down, and take them out before they have a chance to attack you. So I'm gonna say this is a viable build. However, I wouldn't take it to anything harder than a 5-star raid, unless it's a Senkaimon quest that you have the absolute advantage over, whether it's multiplying speed power or Ronkar's power, but I wouldn't count too much on the killer. Next up we have a strong attack damage build, and much like the last build, I was expecting a little bit more damage than I got. I know her SP isn't super high, but it's also not terrible. Plus she's got a plus 40 berserker and a strong attack damage link. Still, it was enough to knock out a lot of the enemies in the first shot, and those who did not, I could easily take out with my normal attack, which turns out was actually really good in this build and actually pretty useful, since I still have the plus 30 bruiser and a moderately high attack. In fact, I'm not really sure this build would be viable without that high attack, since I ended up using it a lot. But much like the last build, I still wouldn't take it in anything harder than a 5-star raid. And now comes the strong attack recharge build. And this one was a little bit weird, just because the damage was actually kind of bad. But despite the damage being bad, the actual result was better than the other two, since I finished the quest a lot faster and ended up getting hit a lot less times. The reason it worked so well is because I had so many strong attacks to work with, I could just knock the enemies over and hit them with my normal attack, which again had a good range and decent damage even in this build. And as I mentioned, the damage was bad, but it still did its job and drained the enemy's health. And it was a combination of all of this that made this build viable, and in fact better than the other two. Surprise! Fourth build! Now you guys have been asking for a hybrid build for the rewinds for a long time, and I did my best to try to come up with one. Normally I like to keep my builds at 100% increase in either attack or SP. In fact, I often read comments of, why don't you have better accessories? Or, you have crap accessories. But the reason I keep it at 100 is because it gives me a good sense of how this character is gonna be with the build I present. Obviously, anything would die if your attack was high enough, which is why I refrain myself from giving characters like Mein Gin a golden chappie. So for this particular build, it was kinda hard to find a balance between attack and SP. I actually ended up boosting each of them by 80% and giving her a boosted strong attack recharge, strong attack damage, and normal attack damage link. I may tweak those ratios in future rewinds though, but for now we're going with this one. The result was what you might expect, the best build out of all four, though I did kind of enjoy the strong attack recharge one more, just because I like spamming strong attacks. I did think my strong attacks did a bit more damage than I was expecting to though. Some of you may not know this, but your attack stat does come into effect when calculating the damage for a strong attack. So because both my SP and my attack were increased by 80%, the damage ended up being pretty decent, despite not having a full strong attack damage build. And as always, anything I couldn't take out with my strong attacks, I was easily able to do with my normal attack. Though I am gonna point out that I didn't really notice the strong attack recharge link at all. I know it was there, I just didn't feel it since it was only 14%. I may remove it in some of the future hybrid builds, but as for this one, it's definitely viable. Though much like the rest of them, I'm not sure how well it'll hold up in something that multiplies a killer, since again it would only really apply for the boss, and even then, only if it's a captain. So yeah, I can still only give Halibel a B, because of the whole killer thing. You can easily take her in any red 5-star raid, but I would stay away from the droplet zones, the inheritance zones, and the extreme co-op. However, she would actually be quite good in several Senkaimon floors, because not all floors take killers into effect, and even some that do don't multiply them by that much. Some focus more on attribute or affiliation, and she would actually be quite good in those since all of her attacks have excellent range and she has bombardment. Overall, this character's still good. She's not great, but still better than a lot of OG characters.
ようこそ我が世界へこのまま消えるがいい
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe to the channel, and let me know what other characters you want to see in a rewind.